Hey guys, it's Hallie. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Hallie McKay, and this is my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, not new here, and aren't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button down below, as well as the notifications button, so that you can get notified every time I post, which I'm going to be more consistent about every Wednesday and Friday. And yeah, let's get into the intro. How do I even begin this? I mean, a lot has changed over the past 7 months. Last time I posted was December 27th. There are very good reasons to that, which there are very good answers to that. Now, into the video a little bit more. Oh my gosh. Where do I even begin? So, I knew going into this, YouTube, I wasn't going to be consistent. I wasn't going to be super duper consistent. I wasn't expecting to be, so consistent and so, on point and all that, just because of my health problems. And a lot of you know, if you've been following me for a really long time, the beginning of the year was kind of rough. I had kidney stones that just kept multiplying, and then I had a manometry testing that had caused me so much PTSD that I refused to go to school, for 2 months. And then when I finally did go to school, my body, did not want to go physically to school because it felt safer at home than it did at school. And then, Christmas break comes around, I'm going back to school and all that, and I end up in inpatient. So, not inpatient in, the hospital for medical reasons, but for psychological reasons. And if you know my story, you do know that I suffer from PTSD. And if you don't, hi, I'm Hallie, and I suffer from a lot of health problems, and I have since the day I was born. If you want to learn more about that, I'm not going to get more about that into that tidbit right now, but I will link my website down below where you can learn more about that. Also, I do apologize for not updating this. helpinghallie.com, and I do want to put a trigger warning out there for suicide, depression, anxiety, inpatient hospitals, anything of that sort, coming towards mental health. Yeah. So, because I've been in and out of the hospital a lot, I suffer from PTSD. And essentially I was really young. And if you say, PTSD only happens in soldiers or people who've been, sexually assaulted or, physically assaulted or, just something that has traumatically happened in their life that is more violence than helpful. And those who say, those doctors were trying to help me, yeah, that's true, but it did cause me a lot of PTSD, and I had to learn to live with that. And it got to a point growing up very quickly because I had to grow up faster than everyone that I knew. I grew up faster than my cousins. I grew up faster than my friends. I grew up faster than anyone I knew. I remember being 5 years old, hardly having any toys in my room. It was all medical. Because I had to grow up. And doing so, it has its holes in that. In where basically I missed out on a childhood. Also missed out on learning that it's okay to slip up sometimes. It's okay to not have to keep going and fighting on your own. And to me, I was always raised to grow up and to be able to deal with this because, with the severity of my issues, my mom's not going to be able to take care of me forever. It's just not able. We've known for a really long time that I've needed to do this. Whether I was going to make it to 10, 15, whatever. That I still needed to do this. And so growing up, like I mentioned, basically just kind of put me in this mindset that I had to fight on my own. I had to fight everything. I was in this fight or flight and I never got out of fight. And my body didn't know how to appropriately respond to this. And when my mom got married again, I snapped. And I saw my step-siblings getting opportunities that I never got as a kid. And I was very mad. And I was angry that I didn't have a childhood. And we were talking, and one of me going into like inpatient in the psych hospital was that we were on a family therapy call over telehealth because COVID, and I was getting worked up. My therapist was talking about my kidney issues and talking to me about it, and I'm in the conversation so I can have a little bit of control in the conversation. And if you know me, you know that my PTSD is also about having control about my health and my body, because that was I was violated of that at a very young age. It got to a point where it felt like my therapist was putting all this weight on my shoulders. And I just started thinking, like, I'm 15. And I'm talking about what treatment is better to proceed with for my kidney stones. Not making TikTok dances, not, hanging out with friends, not doing the normal teenage stuff. I'm sitting here worrying about if I put the right amount of medication in my body this morning. If I forgot a pill, if I put an extra pill in an accident. What doctors I have and when and where, and making lists so I don't freak out at them, so I don't hurt people, and so that I don't torment people the way I used to. And something in my mind just clicked, and this fight was like a pulling away from this rope that was tethering me. It was like a chain that I've been attached to my entire life. And, it said, I give up. I quit. Out loud, and I screamed, and I kept yelling it, and I took a break, and I came back, and they were trying to take away my rights to have medical say over my body. I snapped. And so I went downstairs again, and I took a break. I came out to try and rejoin the session, but my mom and stepdad came out and said, you know what, we're going to take you to a psych hospital because that's what your therapist said to do. Not to mention I didn't go to the psych hospital for more than 3 days because they sucked at taking care of my physical body as well as my mental body, because my kidney stones were blocking my urethra, and I had to get scoped and emergency discharged from there. Yeah, so fast forward, we think I'm doing good. It's February, I'm trying to start a new leaf, and we noticed that I've gone from 115, and I'm going to pause before I say anything more, but I'm going to kind of interrupt myself here. I'm going to say that if you've been following my story, you know that I have weight loss issues. My body does not counteract the same amount of weight yours does. So I'm significantly skinny. I'm significantly smaller than a normal person, and weight's a huge deal. Even if I lose 5 pounds, that's drastic. I'm not supposed to lose weight. Yes, I do exercise, but that is not for losing weight purposes. That is to keep my heart healthy, my muscles healthy, and for no other purpose but that. So over the year, I've been struggling with all this weight loss crap. And it's because I haven't been eating my calories or that. But February to March, I want to say, is where it hit hard. And I think March just hit hard. If you remember, March 13th was the day that Utah was shut down because of COVID. I did not deal with that well. I had been home for 2 weeks after a bowel obstruction and G-tube, and told that I couldn't go to school anymore or see my friends or anything because there was this virus that was killing people like me around the world that had made its fun little stop to Utah. And so just as I had something back, it was ripped away from me. And, February to March, I started losing a lot of weight. I lost 20 pounds in a matter of a month and a half. And not to mention that in therapy-wise, like my therapy plan from here on out was, first inpatient, that didn't pan out. Well, then a DBT program. Well, I screamed at the interview lady in the middle of February. So that basically got tossed out the window. So now we're trying to, pick up these pieces, trying to fix it. And if you don't know, I have a very big tendency to bottle things up. Just because I feel like nobody's going to listen. And so I bottle them up, and to a point where, I can get so angry about it, about all these things, that just one thing that I've been recently thinking about pops the lid off the can or the bottle. And everything spills everywhere. And it destroys relationships. And I have anger issues, and I'm dealing with that. But after this DBT program basically was telling me, I need to be better at listening and all that and this and that, the plan B was to put me in a somewhat inpatient day program. Now, I'm going to say here now that I did not respond the appropriate way to the DBT program. Not the day program, but the DBT group. It was only a couple nights a week, an hour and a half, 3 nights a week, I think. And I did not respond appropriately, obviously. I apologize for that. It was a bad decision to respond that way. But at the same time, that flight, was hey, I think they're trying to put me in, inpatient again. That's what it sounds like. This recently traumatized kid from, being put in this hospital, this mental hospital, and is, trying to take care of her mental health, is being tossed back and forth between all these people. So I freaked out the way I did because of that. And I'm not saying that justifies my actions, but I am saying that's my explanation as to why I felt the need to react. And so, when I screwed that up, March came around, anniversary COVID, and I'm going to put a trigger warning here. I'm going to be talking about suicide things. So if you have triggers, please either pause or skip towards the video of posted time that I'm going to put down below. I, in March, started cutting myself. I did. Since I was 5, I've had suicidal ideation and basically the idea of suicide. Growing up, you may think, 5, that's really young. And yeah, it is, but you gotta understand that I was dealing with a lot from a very young age. And that stress put that pressure, and I just wanted to hurt myself. In fact, I'm gonna get my paper that I wrote in this new program that I'm gonna talk about later. So this is what I wrote. This is one of my first days. My pain is like being trapped under debris in an earthquake. My pain is like being trapped under debris in an earthquake. The aching weight on my chest gets heavier as the earth keeps moving, and it feels like there's no hope. Crying for help, but getting none, and still so terrified. Sobbing for days as you lay in pain, and the weight becomes more powerful. At some point, you're tired of hoping to be rescued because the pain is just so great. Sometimes it feels like you can't breathe. More time passes as you feel this pain, and tears surround you as the pain causes you to collapse. At this point, you give up because it's all too much. And so, that is what I feel like my entire life. Is that I was told to decompress these things, to compact these things in my little mind from a very young age, to deal with it, to fight. And it causes villainous war. I started cutting myself because the only way to relieve that pain, that aching that made me fall over, was I sobbed every night, crying so hard that you could hardly hear it. This pain that sat in my chest for a decade. I finally found a way to relieve it, and it was by cutting myself. And at first it was with scissors, and it wasn't very deep. And then it was with knives, and it was a little bit more deep. And luckily I stopped. I was somebody caught me. I was stopped before I could kill myself. I got help at a day treatment program that I'd been accepted to at the end of the year of school. It was a 2-month program for me. I went there May 25th of 2021, and my last day was July 16th of 2021. It's basically a school program that you go for the morning. You learn therapy techniques. You learn, 8 weeks of it. You have a therapist. You have, recreational therapist, occupational therapist. Teachers who help you get credit recovery done. It is a very safe place for you to let all your troubles go. And that is where I've been the past couple months, is getting help mentally as well as physically, because my body was dying. My weight was just really bad. And so we did TPN, which, if you know what that is, great, you followed me, obviously. But TPN is an IV nutrition source for people who cannot digest nutrition properly, like myself. It is fed through an IV, and it gets into your stomach. But the thing is that it was very hard on your liver. It damaged my liver a lot, and so this is why I have my nasogastric tube, or my NG tube, as I like to call it, where I get basically these boxes of formula poured down my nose and into my stomach at night to help me grow. And I am proud to say that I am now from 97 pounds to 107, which is a huge deal because my body is very hard to gain weight. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. Like I said, I post on Wednesdays and Fridays, so I'll see you guys then. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also, check out some other links that I have in my description because they're pretty cool. Bye.